35 years now. This is my 33rd Sun Bowl. I've been to 18 Super Bowls, and I never thought after that last one that I would cover another one. But December 31st, I'm going to my 19th Super Bowl, but it's called the Hyundai Super Bowl. Because it's the Hyundai Sun Bowl, because that's exactly what this thing is really like. It's comparable to Super Bowl for us.
What do you say to people who say, you must be crazy? What the hell's up?
Well, I mean, seriously, I think if you talk to the average person anywhere here in El Paso and have them be honest with you, I bet you not one single person ever thought in their mind that they would ever see Notre Dame play up on the hill. And we can say that now. And that's awesome.
This definitely is a once-in-a-lifetime. If you're not there, it ain't going to happen again.
Absolutely. You might be able to go anywhere out of town and see them, but to say that you saw them in your own backyard playing at your stadium, that's awesome.
In the 20s, I traveled to Mishawaka and South Bend, and I snuck in the stadium. I was able to sneak into Notre Dame Stadium, and never really understood it completely, just the movie Rudy and things like that, and obviously, had a lot of respect for college football-wise for Notre Dame, but to get in the stadium, the electric feel, the feel you felt.
You felt something, right?
Yeah, it was just, there's something special about the place. And you always check to see how Notre Dame's doing. Well, first of all, because they have their own TV contract, which is $10 million a year.
Right.
So you know where to find them all the time. So you're always watching to see how they're doing. Love them or hate them, every weekend you check to see what Notre Dame's doing. And this December 31st, we won't have to look far to find exactly what they're doing. And I can't wait to get in the stadium and just feel that buzz and hear the fight song and all those things that people talk about and all those great things. As a sports writer for 20 years and as a TV guy now for 5 years, I think there's probably nothing I've experienced in that stadium like I will on New Year's Eve. So I'm looking forward to it.
Stop and think about this. We always talk about college athletics and their tradition. What better tradition can you look forward to seeing than Notre Dame football and all it brings?
It's a bucket list thing, isn't it? Isn't it a bucket list thing?
Yes.
It's one of those things on the list that you got to see.
Exactly. I totally agree.
I need to see the Cowboys in the Super Bowl again. Maybe then I can die after that.
Right.
My list of things. I want to see another World Series Game 7. I've seen one, but I want to see another. But just things scratching off. But to see Notre Dame play and in a bowl game, that's the thing that a lot of people aren't talking about here. Miami and Notre Dame met in the '80s, but they never met in a bowl game.
Right.
And so this is the first time they've ever met in a bowl game. Not only the first time in 20 years they met, but the first time they've ever met in a bowl game. So there's so many distinctions to this.
Absolutely.
And 7-5 and 7-5, who cares? Both these teams I think are going this way, which is what's important. And like last year with Stanford, look at them now. I mean, it's great to know that you saw Stanford last year, and we're going to see them play in a BCS Bowl this year, and know that we were part of that progression. We don't always get to see the big bowl game. We don't get to see the national championships, and we won't be able to do that. But this year, this is our national championship. Or in Ruben's case, his Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And that's one thing about the Sun Bowl is that traditionally, the teams that play here, the following year, if you go back and look at the history of the Sun Bowl, you'll see the two teams that played here this year. Next year, you'll see them playing in a higher caliber BCS Bowl, like Darren just mentioned. And again, I think that these two programs are definitely on their way up.
Sun Bowl and its tradition, the University of Notre Dame to be part of it, we're very, very pleased. And then obviously to have the University of Miami and its great tradition as the team that we're playing make this a very special event. I think you can look at a lot of the matchups in college football in the bowl season. You could arguably say that this will have as much appeal as, other than the national championship game, as any. So, anytime that you're able to reward your football players with an opportunity to play in a game with this kind of matchup, I can tell you our kids are excited. And as Coach knows, sometimes the bowl practices kind of drag on, but when you have an opponent like the University of Miami, it keeps the attention of our players. I know that, and I'm sure that I hope that's the case. And or maybe I don't know if it's the case. I hope you're bored. So, from that standpoint, University of Notre Dame is excited to be here and be part of this community, and I think we're going to be able to put on a great show because I know the community is going to do the same for us in the University of Miami when we get here. So excited from our end, and certainly the matchup is one that I think a lot of people are going to take notice nationally.
Thank you, Coach. Also, I'd like to
All right, Coach, do you have any idea what Notre Dame means to El Paso?
Well, I've read some numbers that we have a big Catholic population, so I would think that that means good things for Notre Dame here. But more importantly, I think the Notre Dame brand we know is around the country, and it's nice to know it's here in El Paso too.
Well, it'll definitely be a pro Notre Dame crowd. Is that good? I mean, you're looking at. I'm thinking 9 out of 10 are going to be rooting for you.
Well, we've been all over the country. We were in Yankee Stadium, and we had a great turnout there at the LA Coliseum, and now here in El Paso to know that we've got Notre Dame fans. That will be great. Our players will really feed off of that.
One of the guys who asked you a question was our 84-year-old Ray Sanchez there. You probably know who Ray was when he asked the question. But Ray is a guy who worked here for 60 years. He has seen the first Sun Bowl he saw was 1938. Before you got here today, I was asking him.
The tradition of Notre Dame transcends who the football coach is at the University of Notre Dame. It's about its tradition. It's about its history, and I'm a caretaker of a program that has such great tradition, and so just excited about the opportunity to take Notre Dame on the road here and create more passionate fans.
Coach, it seems like the country's excited about the matchup itself. Can you talk about the matchup and the history it has?
Well, I think obviously people are harkening back to the times of Lou Holtz and Jimmy Johnson and those great teams that had great players. And there are some similarities here, other than Coach Stellan is much bigger than Jimmy Johnson, and I'm not going to mess with him at all. But there's some great players that are going to be showcased here in this bowl game. I think that's really the tradition certainly helps, but there's some really dynamic football players as well.
You guys have said that you're going to hit because you've learned in the past, I've read, that not hitting during this time is not good, but you're going to get them ready to go, and these are going to be some heated practices. Even here when you come, will you still be hitting a little?
We'll be banging it around a little bit. There's no question. Winning this game is very important to the University of Notre Dame. We've finished very strong in November, so our focus is going to be in practice. This is not going to be a, let's just show up to the bowl game and see what happens. Our preparation will be intense. We'll add some tackling into it. I haven't done it in other bowl games. This will be my 5th now, and we're going to make sure our football team is well prepared.
And you got that from Beamer, I guess, huh?
Yeah, Frank Beamer and I got a chance to coach against each other in the Orange Bowl, and I'm always trying to learn things, and I think they had a little bit of a drought in their bowl games, and a couple of things that they had tweaked was tackling, and so we're going to do that a little bit.
I think in Jimmy Johnson's book he mentions that he called Bill Parcells to ask him how to prepare for the first Super Bowl.
Sure.
So I liken that to that a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, and I think, each team is different as well. And this team is hungry to play in a bowl game. It's been, a very, it's been a while, let's put it that way. They played, obviously, in Hawaii, but certainly this is not something where they're bored. They are excited about playing in this bowl game, and they want to win.
How's it been for your first year at Notre Dame?
Piece of cake. Piece of cake. Obviously, it's a job unlike any other job, and so it requires a lot of your time and attention. And I think I've really got a better sense and feel for Notre Dame, and very confident that we can continue to move our program in the right way.
We've seen some excitement here with other games. We had a great game last year,
Yeah, you did.
with Stanford and Oklahoma. We were lucky, but what I think is going to happen when you all get in town, you're going to be followed like rock stars. You're going to be dealing with a lot, but that's something you're used to, right?
Yeah, I don't know about the rock star, but it's certainly something that we're used to, the scrutiny, and obviously, our players understand that. They understand, and that's why they come to Notre Dame, that they're going to be in that spotlight, and that's why they choose. And that's why they choose to go to the University of Miami as well. These are 2 programs, as Coach Stellan said, that we recruit nationally, and so I think they know that, but it will be nice to know that they're going to a bowl game that the community really cares about. And that's really probably the one thing when you talk about the Sun Bowl, people always talk about the hospitality. My defensive coordinator, Bob Diaco, played in this game when he was at the University of Iowa. So, he knows about the Sun Bowl, and I know when we got the invitation, he was pretty excited too to come back as a coach to a game that he played in.
Coach, what was the one thing this year that you weren't expecting as being the head coach of Notre Dame?
You know, I could list a lot of things. You know, I don't know that there's anything that I wasn't, you know, prepared for, other than, you know, you have to deal the good with the bad. You know, we've had some adversity that we had to get through this year, but I just think trying to stay focused on why you do this, and that is, it's for the players. It's about developing your players. So a lot of things as the football coach at Notre Dame you have to deal with, but don't forget about the players.
Do you think the luck of the Irish is back?
I certainly like a little luck, and I think what's more important is our kids believe they can win. I'll take that over luck any day.
Oscar, tell us a little bit about, you know, you've got the early vibe on all this, but how are you feeling right now about, you know, the Hyundai and being involved, and just the fact that how big this game is?
Well, you know what, it's we couldn't have asked for a better matchup, and you know, as the coach has said a few minutes ago, it will probably be one of the #1 bowl games out there. You know, forget that besides the title game, I think it'll be one of the best games played out there.
Anything you're looking forward to about this whole experience?
Absolutely a great game.